Okay, I think this is going to be the last video in our series. It may be a little bit longer of a video. All the other videos have been about like 4 or 5 minutes. Um, but we're going to notice, or we're going to take some time to notice the symptoms coming on and how to prevent it from getting too severe. So, knowing how you and your body hold on to and show stress is going to be very helpful in being able to prevent it in the future. Um, if you ignore these signs that your body and mind is sending you, eventually you are going to hit a space where you're probably burnt out because these symptoms inside of us just like can't anymore. They've been sending us signals and they want those signals to be heard. So even though a lot of us have all sorts of thoughts and past experiences to go back, to kind of like back up, like just push through it, like you've got it, this is just tough, you can handle it, continuing to push through that exhaustion or whatever other symptoms are there is keeping, well, and keeping all of this is really just going to like further the emotional and physical damage to you, because like pushing through burnout isn't really a thing. That's just a thing society tells us to do, and it's not very helpful. So we have got to push pause. We've got to slow down. We've got to see what's going on, listen, ask for help, maintain that, and just kind of repeat that throughout our lives, because burnout is not something that just like happens to us once. It's definitely things, or definitely has the capacity to kind of show up in all sorts of ways throughout our life. So pausing literally means like stop what you're doing and pause. Like physically stop what you're doing. Mentally, let's slow down a little bit. Maybe even close your eyes for a few moments to focus on your breath coming in and out of your body, not trying to change it, not trying to make it deeper or slower or faster, just noticing it. Maybe you notice it's super rapid or super slow, or it's coming in your mouth or in and out of your nose. Maybe your chest is going up and down or your belly is going up and down. Just taking note of this automatic process that's already happening and just be with that breath for a little bit, pausing and slowing down. We also want to take this time to see what's going on. So notice what's going on in your mind. Notice what's going on in your body. Maybe certain thoughts are popping up. Sometimes people like kind of get into the stage and notice thoughts popping up that are like freaking out about having like their eyes closed, or freaking out about having taken a break in the first place, and immediately exit this space and get back to doing whatever they're doing. That's fine. That's just giving you a lot of data telling you that like this is literally so scary to the internal system to just pause for like one little bit. What I would really get most curious about and maybe with a trained mental health professional is like, what is the underlying belief or fear about that? About taking that micro break to close your eyes and be inside for yourself, that immediately triggers that like, oh fuck, like no, we cannot take a break, we cannot pause, we cannot go inside. Like, what is it so concerned would happen if we do press pause, slow down, and explore? It doesn't mean that we have to literally force ourselves to do that, because that may cause a bigger rebellion inside. But just getting curious about that, like, oh yeah, what's it like to have that thing pop up that is like, nope, open your eyes and get working again. We don't have time to slow down and pause. Maybe you can check in with your body and just notice, I don't know, maybe you can kind of sit there with your eyes closed and just notice things. Like maybe you notice your chest is feeling really tight. Maybe like an elephant is sitting on it. You know, like just notice that, and maybe just bring your hand to your chest to see what it feels like to have your attention focused on there, what it's like to be with that sensation, maybe to focus on sending some breath to that sensation. And, you know, if we're able to stay with that, so if we're in a space where we're able to sit there, close our eyes, notice our breath, just be with it, notice that we have this tension in our chest and bring our hand to it, we really just want to listen to it as well. So when we're focusing on that specific body sensation or thought, just listen. You know, what else is going on in the mind and body while we're doing this? Do certain things like this sensation, hate it, want it to go away, super curious about it. Just take note of all those other thoughts and feelings going on while you're paused here, because all those things are just coming online, letting you know, like, we don't like doing this. This is a weird feeling. We want this to go away. And it's just, again, giving you more data and letting you know what's coming up around it, but also with the expectation that, like, we don't have to do anything with it other than just be aware of what's going on. And then, of course, we want to be able to ask for help. So dependent on what's going on in your head and your body and how comfortable it is for you to have your awareness, and if you're able to approach it with that non-judgmental space, it may be best for you, if you're not able to approach it from a non-judgmental space, to kind of practice this with a trained mental health or licensed mental health professional, because these individuals are able to walk by their clients in those ways to assist them in separating from these thoughts and feelings and sensations in order to gain perspective and learn about them, opposed to becoming consumed by them. Because if we aren't able to meet these things, this pressure and these things inside of us without judgment, we're just going to be looped in the judgment, and we're going to feel bad about ourselves and shame and all these other things. So it's really just going to keep that pattern going, opposed to meeting it from a different space. So burnout doesn't have to just happen to us. It can happen to a part of us, like I said in some of the other series, and maybe we just have something inside of us, again, that is like the big doer or big preventative thinker, and it's been working really hard nonstop for the past 30 years and it's bound to get burnt out. So we just want to create a space to get curious about that and help it. Just to kind of wrap up this series, with some last things. The issue that a lot of us have is that we don't know how to help these things inside of us. So we don't know how to bring awareness to them, and we don't know what to do. So doing that process above of like pausing, slowing down, seeing what's going on, listening to what's going on, and maybe asking for help if this process is difficult for you to do. Like if you're one of the ones who close your eyes and immediately has to open them back up, that may be a sign that you may need some assistance in doing this, because maybe the system is just so tightly wound up in the way that it navigates that it's not going to allow you to deviate and experiment with other things. But we just have to know and believe that it's okay to be tired. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to ask for help. And of course, that is coming from a non-judgmental space, which is hard sometimes to get to inside of us, because a lot of things inside of us don't feel like it is okay to be tired, don't feel like it is okay to take a break, and that it's definitely not okay to ask for help. So being able to meet those things where they're at, really see what they need, listen to them, and try to understand where they're coming from. But yeah, so that's kind of it for the burnout series. I think there's like a total of 6 videos in this series to kind of explore and being able to learn a little bit more about burnout, what it is, what can lead to burnout, how it shows up in your body, and how to reframe how we think about it. But if you have any questions about burnout or anything like that, feel free to reach out. My email is info@therapybyshannon.com. And if you're ever interested in working with me in a individual therapeutic space, again, feel free to reach out via email or check out my website at therapybyshannon.com. Okay, be well, stay safe.